They decided to invite folks from all around the country who were working in this same sort of hip-hop and theater aesthetic.
That's really what it's been about, not just producing works, but also about developing the artist, developing the art form and the aesthetic, in fact.
Before Chadwick Boseman would take on the role of T'Challa, king of the fictional African nation of Wakanda.
What kind of king you are going to be? Don't freeze.
I never freeze.
Before Chadwick would clock in 2.4 million Instagram followers and would land himself on the cover of Rolling Stone, Variety, and Time magazine. Also, he would become the most requested video here and Before They're Famous for February of 2018. Before Chadwick Boseman would take on the iconic roles of Jackie Robinson, Thurgood Marshall, and James Brown, all of which would earn him critical acclaim.
Are they shooting at us? They trying to kill James Brown today. You wanna go down and hit you as the man that killed the funk?
Now, if any of you guys believe in The Secret, which is essentially making your own dreams come true through positive thought, well, you'd have something in common with Chadwick Boseman. The man prayed for the role of Black Panther before he was cast in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and he didn't even have to audition. That's right, the studio selected him in a boardroom meeting, and they just straight up offered him the gig. But all the breaks, they didn't come this easy for Chad. He himself has stated, "Every year Hollywood is looking for that new white leading man and new white starlet that audiences fall in love with. But they're not looking for the next Denzel Washington, Will Smith, or Sidney Poitier." Luckily for him, Hollywood is finally catching up with the times, and the support and success surrounding Black Panther leaves me feeling like there are going to be a lot more opportunities for actors, actresses, writers, and directors of African American descent in the coming years, and maybe forever. When you hear more about Chadwick's formative years, I think you'll agree why he's the perfect man to be at the forefront of all these changes. What's going on, guys? My name is Michael McCrudden, documenting the life and career of Chadwick Boseman prior to fame, prior to Black Panther, here for you on Before They're Famous. Now, I mentioned in the intro this was one of the most popular videos of this month to cover, and usually when I do A-listers, they're not as popular as like an online celebrity. But that Michael B. Jordan video, it did really well, you guys really liked it, and it's my job to get done what you request. So let me know who you want me to document next in the comments down below. You can also find me on Instagram or Twitter at McCruddenM. Now let's get into this bio.
How has the experience of portraying a war veteran had an impact on you?
You don't always process the changes that have happened with you, but I think it was just a better understanding of the frailties of life, you know.
Chadwick Aaron Boseman was born on November 29th, 1976 in Anderson, South Carolina, USA. Population just 26,000. Now Chadwick, or Chad as he went by growing up, is the son of Carolyn Boseman, who is a nurse, and Leroy Boseman, who worked at a textile factory while simultaneously running an upholstery business. Now he is the youngest of 3 sons, and it appears he comes from a pretty big family.
I have 41 first cousins, there's 42 of us in all.
On one side. How many on the other side?
I think it's 23, something like that.
Oh my God. Do you know them all?
Right. Of course.
Let's name them. Go
No.
In another interview, he stated, "When my grandmother died, she left 115 grandkids and great-grandkids." And that was just on one side. In recent years, Chad decided to take an African ancestry DNA test because he wanted to know precisely where his family comes from. The results came back concluding that his ancestors were from Limba, people hailing from Sierra Leone. Now Boseman was baptized and raised Christian and still follows his faith to this day. Growing up, he was a part of the church choir and youth group, and clearly he was a pretty decent kid. But that doesn't mean he didn't face some adversity. Growing up in the South, he experienced racism firsthand. It's not hard to find in South Carolina. Going to high school, I'd see Confederate flags on trucks. I know what it's like to be a kid at an ice cream shop when some little white kid calls you the N-word. But your parents tell you to calm down because they know it could blow up. We even had trucks try and run us off the road. Chad played with a Little League baseball team but found more passion for basketball, which started to take up much more of his time. In high school, he qualified for the AAU National Tournament, and this was back in 1993. Outside of athletics, he was a member of the National Honor Society and was crowned Homecoming King. What a stud. In his junior year, he wrote his first play, Crossroads, and staged it at his school after a classmate was shot and killed. Now this experience would have young Chad falling in love with storytelling, and he started to consider writing and directing as his future career. His principal at TL Hanna High School, Sheila Hilton, well, she told a local newspaper, "We knew when he was a student here you could just tell the talent he had. He was winning at everything he competed in." He graduated high school in 1995, and from there he enrolled at the historically black college of Howard University, located in Washington, D.C.
You know, Howard was one of the schools that was created after slavery to sort of catch the enslaved African up with the rest of the country.
There he majored in directing, but he felt to better understand actors he would need to know what they go through, and signed up for an acting class taught by famed actress Phylicia Rashad. It was here that the pursuit of acting initially caught his attention. Now for those of you who are asking who is Phylicia Rashad, well, you may recognize her from a little show known as The Cosby Show.
All the women are dressed.
What about the woman in the back seat of the convertible?
She has on a bikini.
I don't see any bikini.
No, Mom, it's there. See, it's tiny, so when the car goes fast, it cuts down on the wind drag.
With Phylicia as his mentor, Chad ended up booking a prestigious summer course at Oxford University, where he studied theater. Now after being accepted, he didn't have the means to pay the tuition, so Phylicia had some celebrity friends cover the costs. Following school, he landed work from 2002 to 2007 at the Schomburg Center of Research in Black Culture located in Harlem, and he was the drama instructor, which gave him plenty of time to sharpen up his African studies. Now during this time, he began auditioning and booked his first television role on the soap opera All My Children. He was playing the role of Reggie Bush. Now get this, the soap decided to make a casting change and got rid of Chadwick, and in his place, young Michael B. Jordan. He took on the role. Small world.
I'm not talking money.
Then you're not talking.
Look, just change that dressing every 12 hours for the first 3 days. After that, once a day until it heals.
I look like a nurse to you?
You don't keep that clean and you will end up in the hospital.
By 2003, Chadwick was booking work regularly, appearing in Third Watch, Law & Order, CSI New York, ER, and then he got his first big role in the TV series Lincoln Heights.
Put a new motion sensor on the porch light, cut back the hedges near the windows, ran a diagnostic check on the alarm system, and checked my weapon.
During this time, he also continued to work as a playwright with his script for Deep Azure, which was performed at the Congo Square Theater Company in Chicago, Illinois. Now this got him nominated for a 2006 Joseph Jefferson Award for new work. He decided in 2008 to make the big move to Los Angeles, but it would take another 5 years before he would get his huge break. Now during this time, he was strongly considering giving up on his pursuit of acting to focus more on writing and directing. But then he landed two seriously iconic roles. First up was Jackie Robinson in the film 42.
I jack, I rob, I sin. Oh man, I'm Jackie Robinson. Except when I run base, I dodge the pen.
For this role, Chadwick beat out 25 other actors who were being strongly considered, but the director liked his bravery and cast him after his second audition. Next up, he would portray the hardest working man in show business, James Brown, in Get On Up.
Are we done, Mr. Bird?
I'm afraid not, Mr. Brown.
I said, are we done?
I think we got more funk in the trunk.
And it was this role that earned him so much critical acclaim, everyone was talking about him, and the executives over at Marvel Studios, well, they just decided we're gonna make that guy the next Black Panther. Or the first one. And maybe the last one. They were gonna make him Black Panther. So he signed a 5-picture deal with Marvel without even having to audition. Now this is pretty serious. Like Chris Evans, Scarlett Johansson, they had to audition. But not your boy Chad.
Black Panther himself, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Chadwick Boseman.
I think it was 24 hours between saying his name in a creative story meeting and talking to his agent and getting on a phone with him and offering him the role of Black Panther, which he accepted. As for the rest of the story, well, that's pretty much it, and I'm gonna wrap this one up here because this is Before They're Famous. My name is Michael McCredden and I checked out Black Panther this weekend and it was pretty good. I'd give it like a 9 out of 10. It wasn't a 10 out of 10 for me because it wasn't really for me. It wasn't. It was great. I loved it. You know, I didn't go on Rotten Tomatoes to say anything bad about it. I'm just saying, 9 out of 10, really good. Let me know who you want me to document next in the comments down below. There were tons of other stars in this film we could get done, or perhaps it's someone else. There's a bunch of other films coming out this summer, so we might get working on that. Give me your suggestions down below. You can also find me on Instagram or Twitter at McCreddenM, and I'll see you guys in another video.
Why don't you tell me why you're here, Reggie?
I had an accident.
Well, since you didn't fill out the paperwork, you're gonna have to give me more to work on.
I got hurt. Just fix me up.
You call that an accident? What'd the guy use, a machete?
Just sew it up.
Not until you answer some questions. Who cut you?